that I wanted to say. Oop, I just started recording. Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
Are you okay with that, Dee Dee?
Yep, I'm good with it.
Okay, so here is another quote from this book about connection. So I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from their relationships. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this clipboard. So connection is when we have close relationships, when we have a positive circle of people around us that help feed our souls. And then we have our close friends or our family members or this. And you don't have to have a ton of these people. You don't have to let every single person, people from your work group, you don't have to share your innermost secrets with them. It's okay to not share everything. So we're going to talk about these closest boundaries. And Dee Dee, I'm really glad you brought up what happens when somebody who should be close to you, a friend or a family member, does something that crosses that boundary that compromises the connection, that makes you feel not safe, not respected, not valued, not heard. Then they have broken that social contract. They've crossed a boundary in an inappropriate way. So the very, very heart of it, this is what, if you get nothing else out of this, I'm going to come back here to the innermost circle, which is you. So Dee Dee, tell me, how old is your daughter?
She's one.
She's one.
18 months.
How easy, what is her name?
Her name is Isley. She's actually, sorry. There she is.
Hi, Isley.
Say hi.
Hi, sweetheart. You're so cute.
Say thank you.
Okay, so how easy is it for you to love Isley?
It's very easy for me to love her.
Are you willing to give her what her needs? If she says she's thirsty or needs changed, or if she's frightened, are you willing to give her those needs to comfort her and help her?
Absolutely.
Would you ever call her stupid or belittle her or put her down in an inappropriate way?
No, absolutely not.
You would not. Why?
Well, because those are not things that I just say. And then she's a baby, and then it's just a lot of reasons why. And nobody's going to learn talking to them like that. And I'm sure that'll make the person feel worse than what they probably actually feel like. And it's my baby.
Right. Okay, she's a baby. She's innocent. She's precious. She's lovely. And yet, so many times we say those things to ourselves. We say rude and derogatory things. So I'm going to read a list of things from here about worth. We say, oh, I will be, for years, I placed, I will be worthy. See if any of these resonate with you. The greatest challenge for most of us is believing that we are worthy now, right this minute. Worthiness doesn't have prerequisites. So many of us knowingly create or unknowingly allow or been handed down a long list of worthiness prerequisites. I'll be worthy when I lose 20 pounds. I'll be worthy if I can get pregnant. I'll be worthy if I can get or stay sober. I'll be worthy if everyone thinks I'm a good parent. I'll be worthy when I can make a living and start selling my art. I'll be worthy if I can get married or hold my marriage together. I'll be worthy when I make a partner. I'll be worthy when my parents finally approve. I'll be worthy if he calls back and asks me out. I'll be worthy when I can do it all and look like I'm not even trying. I'll be worthy when I'm financially successful. I'll be worthy if I am smarter or more educated. Have you ever fallen into one of those traps? I
For
have.
sure.
I have. I'm going to tell you a personal story. I am going to Italy in September with a bunch of my family and close friends. Sarah's one of them. But I decided that I needed to lose some weight. So I was like, okay, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And when I've lost this number, then I'm going to buy a dress from a company called eShakti, which is my friend Patience gets all of her clothes, and it's a company from India. Hi, Clary. There's tape in my dresser. I need you to not be in here because I'm teaching a class. Okay. Anyway, they make custom made dresses that you send them your measurements, and you can change like the neckline or the sleeve size or the length, and you can change the colors, and you can get a dress that is what you want, and they're not that expensive. And I was like, okay, when I reach my goal, and I am going to get myself an eShakti dress. And then I read this book and I was like, to hell with that. I'm going to buy an eShakti dress because I'm going to Italy, and I deserve to look beautiful, and I deserve to wear clothes that make me feel good about myself, regardless of what the number on the scale says, because that doesn't matter. That does not get to dictate who I am. That does not get to some arbitrary number of what I should look like, or what I should weigh, or who I should be pleasing. That's crap, and I'm going to throw it out the window. So I'm going to order me an eShakti dress for my birthday. Think about that. Write on your paper, what is a worthiness lie that is holding you back right now? You don't have to share, but just think about it. I'll give you a few more minutes, a few more seconds to write that down. So last week, we talked about the goddess Kali, who's awesome. Hold on. This is kind of a shocking image. So Kali is a Hindu representation of chaos. So I'm not going to go through everything. If you want to know what all of this symbolism means, watch last week's video. But she has conquered her insecurities. This represents external things that hold her back, and this demon that she's chopped the head off is internal, all those lies that we tell ourselves. And this sword is her skills, and this is wisdom. There's lots of symbolism here, but she's kind of ferocious. She's fierce, and she's the goddess of chaos and potential and creativity. So today I'm going to share with you a different image from the Buddhist tradition. Oops, hold on. Stop screen sharing. You don't need the goddess Kali. Screen share. I do need Aaron. There's nothing to show here. Ah! Okay. He saved a blank. Hold on. All right. Sorry about this. Here we go. This is the goddess Tara. That's not a great picture. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to go with this one because it's a little bit better. It's not the picture I want, but it'll do. So, what do you notice about this goddess? Anything at all? Throw it out.
She seems more peaceful.
Yeah, she's not holding a sword and killing somebody. That's a good place to start. Okay, what else?
She's surrounded with flowers.
She's surrounded by flowers. Yes. Calm and growth. Dee Dee, you want to throw anything in here before I jump into explanations?
I was pretty much going to say the same thing. She just looks more calm. The colors are not so, I don't know how to explain it.
Intense?
Yeah, like it just looks more calm, more relaxed.
Yes, more restful. Okay, so Kali is the goddess of potential, of like, I could do anything. She's kind of a kick butt kind of a person. Tara is the goddess of growth and self-compassion and self-mastery. So here's some things about her. Her right leg is out, and that represents that she's grounded, that she is connected to the source of all growing things. At the very first lesson, I defined spirituality as the energy of all living things, and she has tapped herself into that. She's connected to the beauty and growth of all things. So you're right, she's surrounded by flowers. But her left leg is tucked in, meaning that she has qualities that are hers alone. Hold on, I'm going to pull up some of the other representations that I'm not as familiar with Tara, but the divine is like the supreme God, the creator. That she has the sign of on her forehead, which represents that she allows, for lack of a better word, the Spirit of God to come into her mind and purify her thoughts. So her thoughts are pure and focused on good things. In her heart, she has this jewel, which represents, how well can you guys see this? I'm trying, if I make it not so great, I wonder if I can make it bigger. There you go. Is that better? Okay, so she has, go back. Okay, so she's wearing jewelry. She has this blue jewel, which represents purity of heart, that she has wisdom coming into her, or by her throat, which represents speaking kind thoughts and that she is kind in her words. And then this one in her belly button or heart represents kind actions, that she has a crown of wisdom and connection with God. Her words are like kind gems, and her actions are good deeds. Imagine someone just pouring out, if good deeds were diamond and kind words and compassion, that she's just throwing out gems of goodness. My mom used to say that a closed fist is not a good teaching tool, that a closed fist is fear, that if you are closed, you can neither give or receive. When we have open hands or open hearts, we can both give compassionately and also receive compassionately. And there's kind of a misinterpretation okay, I'm going to read this. In cultivating compassion, we draw from the wholeness of our experience, our suffering, our empathy, as well as our cruelty and terror. It has to be this way. Compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. That if our good gifts are just a one-way street, like, oh, you're so in need, let me help you, let me give to you, but I don't need any help, I'm good, I'm fine. That's pride. That's not honest. That's not open. That's why we need to have one leg open to receive. One needs to receive and one needs to give. The left foot represents taking into ourselves. Let me finish this quote and then I'll tell a story. Only when we know our own darkness can we be present with the darkness of others. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our own shared humanity. You have to be honest about your darkness. You have to be honest about your faults and your loneliness and your bumps. I had a job that I did not like the person that I was. I didn't like being petty and mean and judgmental and bored and gross. And it wasn't until I left that job that I realized how much it was affecting how much I had changed from the person I wanted to be. And it was really easy to delude myself to be like, I'm still a good person. I can act mean to these people, but I'm still a good person. No, I had to, in this quote where she says, our suffering, our empathy, as well as our cruelty and terror, we have to admit that we all have the capacity to do really shitty things to other people. We all have the capacity to be really bad, to hurt people. And it's only when we acknowledge that we could say, yes, but I can learn from that and I cannot do it again. There are, I think in my Sunday school class, I taught, and I don't have this, I wish I had a visual. So you're going to have to use your imagination. Imagine footprints going from dark black to gray to brown to lighter and lighter to beige to white. And it was the steps of repentance. So when we do something wrong, we recognize that we've done wrong. we feel badly, we apologize or make restitution, we promise never to do it again, we forgive ourselves, and we ask God for forgiveness. It was this path of like self-cleansing and then becoming. So that was a Sunday school answer. But the more that I've thought about it, I was like, this pattern is represented in many, many cultures. It is admit that you have evil within you. Feel bad for that. Do not let that define you as a person. Set boundaries. Apologize if necessary, or make restitution in whatever way. Forgive yourself. Don't let it define you. Use it as a learning experience to become better, and then become back one in harmony with God and with all living things. But here's the secret. There's a flip side to all of those footprints, and that's called the steps of forgiveness. So instead of recognizing that you have done something wrong, recognize that somebody else has wronged you, that you have been hurt. And that was a bad thing for them to do. You don't have to take that. Feel bad. Feel anger. Feel whatever it is you feel. Third, don't let it define you. We all have bad things happen to us. Some of them we do to ourselves. Some of them other people do to us. Some of them are life circumstances, poverty or illness or natural disasters. That doesn't define who you are. You have inner worth in spite of all that. Feel badly. Make restitution. That's really important, because making restitution does not mean allowing them into your inner circle. What it means is to say, I have been wronged, and I am going to forgive this person by making them come all the way out here or wherever it's appropriate. Your aunt that says rude things, you could say, I will be in your company for 20 minutes on Thanksgiving. And after 20 minutes, your time is done. And I don't have to be around you anymore because you say rude and hurtful and inappropriate things. That is your allotted time. You recognize, you set boundaries, and you forgive them. And you say, okay, since I have relegated you to your place in the world, I don't have to carry all of your crappiness around with me. I can push you to the side, and I can work on growing myself, because you don't get to come and live right here in my inner circle. Your cruelty, your bad words, your bad actions don't get to live in my heart. That is the beauty of open and closed fists. I am receiving the good, and I am closing myself off to the bad. I can give, but I don't have to give everything. There are some things that are mine, or I will choose who they get to be with. Does this make sense? So boundaries is a form of self-compassion and compassion to other people. I remember a mom who was she would set the table and her kids would want something. Mommy, can I have milk? Mommy, can I have this? Can I have that? And finally she was like, Mom is a person too. I will get you whatever you want until I sit down. As soon as I sit at the table, if you want something, you have to get up and get it yourself, because Mom is a person too and deserves to eat. And her kids were like, oh, okay. Mom is a person too. Mom deserves to eat uninterrupted. But, okay, I'm going to move on a little bit. I'm going to take this, stop screen sharing for a minute. After collecting thousands of stories, I am willing to call this a fact. A deep sense of love and belonging is an irreducible, I don't know what that word is an irreducible human need from the moment we're born until we die. We are biologically, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, and to belong. When those needs are not met, we don't function as we are meant to. We break. We fall short. We numb. We ache. We hurt others. We are sick. There are certainly other causes of illness, numbing, and hurt, but the absence of love and belonging will always lead to suffering. Always. And the most important place to start is you have to love yourself. You have to focus on this very inner circle, because you can have all the boundaries in the world, but if you don't love yourself, what that's called is shutting people out and building a wall around yourself, and nothing grows. You've just created a prison for yourself, a dungeon of cold, dark, lonely, no light. It's time to break down those walls. So here's the meditation for today. Just a minute before we, okay, sit up straight, clear your mind, take a couple of breathe out breaths. In Buddhism, or maybe Hinduism, I sometimes get them confused, there are chakras, and chakras are places in your body where energy flows. So we know we have our blood system, you have your muscle system, you have your circulatory system, you have your nervous system, and then below that, like your very core, your spiritual system is your energy, how your energy flows. And people are like, oh, energy, that's weird, but energy is all around us. So take your fingers, these middle fingers, put one on your forehead. That's the chakra of your mind. Your nose, bridge of your nose is breath. Chin, we're just going to work our way down. Chin, collarbone, belly button, inside of your knees, ankles, tops of your feet, elbows, inside of your elbows, wrists, backs of your hands, shoulders, put your fingers right here, kidneys, take a deep breath. Now, I don't know about you, but I immediately feel it. I feel things just running smoother. And I'm not going to say it's all in my mind. I'm going to say that the more I understand, the more I recognize things. I wouldn't have recognized that if I hadn't started doing meditation. So now that you're all open, we're going to do a 1-minute meditation. We tried for 5 minutes last time and that was too long. I won't do that to you again, but we might go 2 minutes. And for the next 2 minutes, I want you to only say good things about yourself. So remember, honesty is not just what we're bad at. I'm sure if I ask you, what do you not like about yourself? We all have a laundry list. If I say, what do you love about yourself and what is good about you? that might be a little harder, but do it anyway. So I'm going to set a timer. Our time starts now. Ten more seconds. Okay. Was that hard? Or was it easy once you got into the mindset?
It was a little hard. I try and keep saying different things that I love about myself, and I start wanting to repeat them, but I'm like, no, I've gotta really let myself think about all the things that it's kind of hard to ruminate on that.
I think that we have our go-tos. If somebody asks me what's good about you, I can be like, "Oh, I'm a good cook." You know, "Oh, I can do this." We have our two or three things that are like our mask, our things like, "Yeah, this is me." But to take that off and go deeper, be like, "But what's good about your next level? What's good about not your mind, but your heart? What's good about your body? What's good about your soul?" That's harder. So, does anybody want to share something good about you? Are you brave? Be brave.
I'm an empathetic person.
Awesome. Empathetic. That is so important in today's society, to have compassion, to recognize suffering, and to be willing to suffer with people. Excellent. Who's next?
I seek joy.
I love it. I seek joy. I want to put that on a plaque. Put it somewhere. Seek joy. All right, Dee Dee, what's good about you?
What's good about me is I always look for, or at least I try to look for a positive in a situation. Like something could be going very, very wrong, but then I'll say, well, at least this and that is happening. Like just looking for, what do you call that? What do they say? Like sun at the end of the tunnel, light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Yep. Light at the end of the tunnel. I'm so proud of you all. That is amazing because it ties perfectly into how I want to end. So in this book, Brene Brown is a researcher, and she has spent years researching shame and some of the negative feelings. And in this, in 2007, she had a self-realization where she realized that there were people who 13 guideposts of wholehearted living, people who, no matter what their circumstances were, had a better life. So to live with your whole hearts is this. Wholehearted living means 1, courage, compassion, and connection. We talked about that. Have the courage to admit both your strengths and your weaknesses, and to understand the need for compassion and connection, that we all need each other. We need to get right into go into the dark with each other. Take your own darkness, walk into the darkness, and rescue other people. And by sharing our darkness, we can come back into the light together. Nobody does it alone. We have to be honest. The other one, the next one is exploring the power of love, belonging, and being enough. Be enough for yourself. This week, every day, I want you to write something good about yourself. More than one would be ideal. Say good things about yourself. Put sticky notes on the mirror. Put sticky notes on your refrigerator or your phone or wherever you can see them, and add to your list, not just the front things. Dig deeper. And it's okay, Sarah. You said you didn't want to repeat. It's okay if you repeat, if you expound on it. Like take one thing and then dig a little deeper and a little deeper down that rabbit hole. Guideposts. Have the courage to be imperfect. Let go of comparisons. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. I'll tell a really quick story about this, and then I'll go on to some of the other 10 things. Aaron and I went to see Jordan Peterson live last night. It was really awesome. He's a psychologist, but he tells a story about this guy was in college and he was just feeling really down on himself. He was like, oh my gosh, my roommate is taking all these classes and is so accomplished and is doing all this, and I'm just barely holding on and I can't handle it. And he was like, oh, that's too bad. What's the name of your roommate? He goes, Elon Musk. And he was like, well, you and 7 other billion people aren't doing as well as him. If you're going to compare yourself to who you were previously. Are you kinder to yourself than you were last week or last year or last month? Are you better? Do you have more knowledge? Do you have more insight? Don't compare yourself to other people because they're not going to be around. They're all the way out here. They don't get a vote. Only you. There we go. Only you get to count. People who live wholeheartedly let go of numbness and powerlessness. They think, what can I do now? What can I do about this situation? Even if it's one little thing. You take responsibility and you make little action, and tiny little actions build up over time, have an incredible effect. If you said, I'm going to save 1 penny every day over your whole lifetime, that's a lot of pennies. So do one thing for yourself every day. Have I exercised today? Have I washed my face and put on makeup? Have I meditated or said my prayers or read my scriptures or whatever it is that feeds you? Have I fully engaged in another person? Have I looked my daughter or boyfriend or pet or friend right in the eye and said, I'm listening to you. You're worth my time and I want to be with you. Engage with another person. Am I holding on to unexpressed emotions? And can I write down something good? Cultivate gratitude and joy. Wholehearted people, write down something every day to be grateful for. Wholehearted people, play. Just play. Move your body. Act like a monkey. Go out and do cartwheels or get on the floor and romp or move your body in circles. Have a dance party. Play. And then the last one is be creative. We talked about that. Creativity is incredible. Color, draw, sculpt, write, bake, whatever it is you do for creativity. Do create amazing things or just fun things. And then the last one is be still. Take time to just sit and think about good things. Connect. Remember our goddess, surrounded by flowers, connected with deity, holding in the things that she's good at, letting wisdom and light and knowledge shine through her and around her. Be your goddess, because you are worth healing and you are worth wholeness. That is the end. Do you have any questions? Any thoughts?